Hello, and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast. Rare Tuesday appearance. Um, Still don't know where Derek's at. I hope he's okay. Guess we'll find out. Yeah, yeah. So we're doing this on a Tuesday because, well, Tom and I, quite frankly, had some shit to do yesterday. So we're here today. Obviously, Cash Wheeler is in the news in a very, very big way. I'm sure we're going to have a deep, deep dive on that. Swerve Strickland had some things to say this week. I can't wait to hear Tom weigh in on this one. Seth Rollins with a earth-shattering announcement this week. And we've got some other things that we'd probably like to discuss at some point during this show. We'll see what happens.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Tell you one thing I won't get over is how dark my beard is in the intro video and how not dark it is now.
Well, it's because of that intro video. I mean, those are clips from like our first 12 episodes. And we were young.
Saying,
we were young men.
We were young men. We're not anymore. At least I'm not. I don't know. You still look the same. I'm fucking old.
Well, you know,
I got old.
people age gracefully. You know what I mean?
So how you been, bud?
Good, man. Real good. Been a busy week. Gonna keep being busy week. You know. Had t-ball practice today, first time.
I finally just got the roster for at least for baseball, so I know whose baseball team he's on, and it's luckily my buddy Andy, who I like a lot, and I'm like, oh, cool, let's be on Andy's team. That's fucking killer.
Yeah, I went as a parent and I left as an assistant coach.
That might happen to me too, but I like Andy, so if that happens, it'll be okay.
I had fun, man. It was fun to get out there and throw the ball around with my boy, you know.
I'm more than happy to stand on first base and tell him to go.
Right. Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best way to do it.
And dribble some grounders at the 3 and 4 year olds, you know.
Well, 10-year-olds in my case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, you know.
I feel you.
Just chucking them at the boy. Just like.
So I have a story. My week was busy
yeah.
in a way that stinks. Not really, but because it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. It wasn't funny until kind of today. We'll say it's funny today. So I'm going to preface this story with the reasoning Derek gave us for not being here last week, and I believe that karma came back and got me. So Derek had told us last week, if you recall, that he was sitting there. He said, no, what did he say? He said, pooping at work is terrible. I'm sitting here with my balls in cold water.
Yep, that's what he said.
To which point I said, oh my God, what the fuck? And then Derek explained why, because apparently the toilet water at work is high, and he's had the we'll call it Yokozuna's revenge for podcast sake for the last couple of days. At which point I laughed at him incessantly and was like, did you call a doctor or something? Get like a face chat. And I think this was the last conversation that Derek and I had. And he's like, oh, I'm going to do that. That's a good idea. Anyway, and then I proceeded to laugh about it and make fun of him for dropping his balls in cold water at work and just your balls floating around there in poopy water. That's disgusting. So anyway, fast forward to Thursday, I wake up. I'm like, I kind of don't feel great today. I felt kind of shitty on Thursday. And there was no good reason for it. I wasn't hungover. I didn't fall down the steps or anything. But you know how sometimes you just feel sick. All of your glands feel swollen and just yucky and bad, where all that stuff is together.
Yeah,
Just felt that way Thursday. Couldn't get over it. Friday morning, woke up, felt fine, took some Advil, went to work. No big deal, right? Worked through Friday. Friday night, pizza night, went to pick up pizza. Sat in the car and go, huh, why is my butt cheek sore? This is weird. Anyway, didn't think anything of it. Go, get the pizza, come back, eat the pizza, have a good Friday night, yada, yada, whatever. Wake up, my ass hurts terribly. What the fuck is wrong with me? All day, I'm like thinking like I got a zit on my butt or something that just hurts. It's terrible. No. So Saturday, terrible pain. Sunday, wake up, still in terrible pain. Just like a 10. Sitting down, standing up is a 10 out of 10. Go to the urgent care. They go, you got an abscess back there. We can't do it here. You got to go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. Having to have my mom pick up the children at the hospital while I'm sitting there in a hospital in pain out my ass, literally. Literally. So they come in. The special ass doctor goes, oh yeah, we'll drain that right here. Drain that. Fuck.
Cause okay. I'm an ass man.
Anyway, stabs my ass abscess. I can't. That felt. He may as well have just stabbed me with a hot poker. That's what that felt like. So now I'm on antibiotics and all kind of other stuff because I made fun of Derek for his cold ball water, and that gave me an ass abscess. So,
well, you know what they say about it? They say karma's a motherfucker. I mean,
what?
You know, I said they say karma's a motherfucker, pal. Like, so, I mean,
karma fucked me up. It fucked up my weekend. That's for sure. It fucked me up on Saturday and it fucked me up on Sunday.
Well, you know what, but I mean, you got to take some positive out of that, right? Like, at least your balls weren't like just flopping in poopy cold water. Like, at least
my balls were not flopping in.
I mean,
that's the only solace I could take from that is that my balls weren't also in poopy cold water.
So, like, are you sitting on like you got a donut?
No, I'm fine. I am 100% right now.
I gotta get my butt cushion, boy. Hold on now.
No, so as soon as they stabbed that thing, I mean that felt terrible, but all that terrible came out, and it must have looked like a fucking war crime, but it was once it was done, it was over. They literally like 30 minutes later, they were like, "All right, put your pants on, get the fuck out of here." I was like, "What?"
So they gave some antibiotics.
I was gonna drive home. Yeah, I just drove home. It was fine. Now
so
I did have
antibiotics
packed with gauze and taped shut for about a day.
Oh goodness gracious!
so that was a fun, exciting. That was a fun, exciting development. But yeah, I then drove myself home with my butthole taped up. So
that's wild. So they just gave you an antibiotic and sent you on your way.
Well, yeah. After they stabbed it out all the terrible. Yeah. They just gave me like, all right, see you later. I mean, it was the ER. What are they going to do? They need the bed. They need to clean up the blood and guts that came out of me and put some other chooch in there.
Yeah. Did they give you any painkillers?
They did. I took one. It kind of just put me to sleep. I feel like I feel like that was its choice for keeping me out of pain was if you're asleep, it don't hurt.
Yeah,
that was fucking out. So I took one, and oh come on. Speaking of karma, so I took one. I took it like in the morning before work because it was like, I don't want to hurt at work, and then after that, it was like, now I need a nap. So yeah, had a big nap.
A little nappy nap?
A little nappy nap. But no, I didn't get anything fun like Percocet or anything. It just makes you go to sleep.
Well, you know, according to Hulk Hogan, you know, he dealt with a bunch of problems, you know, with addictions to painkillers. He's quoted this week as saying, I had doctors writing me prescription after prescription, and all of a sudden it became a vicious cycle. I was hitting the pain pills hard because I'd had to endure 25 procedures, including 10 to my back, facial operations for being kicked, knee and hip replacements, and abdominal and shoulder surgeries. So there was a period of time about 5 or 6 years ago where I was in crazy pain to the extent I couldn't even function. When you have back surgery, it takes a good year for your body to recover. Yet they were cutting on me every 4 months. I needed pain meds at that stage, that's for sure, brother. But once things started to wind down, they continued giving me the same meds. It got to the point where I'd recovered from the 10th back surgery, and the pharmacy would call me and say, "Your prescription's ready, brother." And like a dog chasing a bone, I'd go pick it up. So Hogan kind of bringing to the forefront what I think a lot of us kind of really assumed anyways, especially whenever his fucking marriage went into the shitter, and his kids
first
fucking
marriage or his
denounced him.
second marriage, because he's on number 3 right now. He's
Yeah, I
nowhere
don't
near
know.
Ric Flair, but
No, Rick's got like 17 ex-wives and at least 36 fiancées.
I want to say it might be 17 fiancés, but I think it's 8 ex-wives. Was
And
Wendy
you know
not
what, dude?
number 8?
And like, and not to go down this rabbit hole too much, but I thought that this was interesting. Coming from from the Hulkster, right? And it's like you look at somebody like that we watched and we grew up on, and it was always eat your vitamins, say your prayers. You train hard, you learn right. All of the Hulk Hoganisms, and for this to kind of be discussed so openly, I think it's healthy. To be able to kind of put that out there and be like, yeah, brother, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel like this is surprising that he opened up about this, but I think it's good. I think to kind of put it in the forefront a little bit.
Absolutely, and especially I think somebody like Hulk Hogan, who, like you said, was so, say your prayers, take your vitamins, stuff like that. At this point, it's pretty well known that Kurt Angle had struggled with stuff with that as well, for similar reasons. He touted, wrestling won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. Well, all that shit adds up after a few years, and you can either.
And there wasn't anybody that was working harder and running looser than Hulk Hogan in the fucking in the 80s, brother.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean? And then he had a second, the resurgence of his career with the NWO and shit. And that was just fucking straight party life. So I think
he was in his mid 40s at that point too. He was 45-ish when he was like 45 when they painted that belt and black. He was like 45 years old. Like, so he was not like he was not in the prime of his career. He was well past where most of those guys retire.
Yeah, and now we see it that it's more prevalent for that to be a thing, right? Where it's like, you guys got guys into their 40s, late into their 40s, still performing at top notch, and it's almost like you to circle back and kind of talk about a guy like LA Knight, right? And it's like, he's in his late 30s and he's just hitting his stride. He's in what he believes to be the beginning of the prime of his career, and that used to not be the case.
Yeah.
So Hogan kind of defied that. Oh, and the fact that he struggled with it, as a quote unquote normal human being, in his retirement and in his ability to kind of talk about it and not live that rock star life where, you heard about him being addicted to this kind of shit back in the day. I mean, he was clearly doing roids and fucking drinking beers. But I think it's a good thing that he's able to kind of talk about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, because then, it kind of shows sort of I think we're coming around where it's like, where maybe like there was a point in time where you drug addicts are, you're cast off, right? You're just, that's it. That's the end of you. Where it's kind of coming around where it's like, no, like you can come out and you can say, hey, I had a problem and I got help. And if you have a problem, you need to get help too. And it's almost sort of like, instead of looking at those people now like some sort of like a mess, I feel like that was a very boomer thing. Like, we millennials are much more like kind of compassionate towards that because we've seen our own friends go through similar struggles.
Absolutely.
And we haven't cast them out, so at this point, like, to have somebody who is of the level of Hulk Hogan. I mean, you don't get any bigger than Hulk Hogan as far as pro wrestling is concerned. I mean,
and then the bell rang.
Yeah, but still, sports entertainment. You don't get any bigger than Hulk Hogan, right? Sports entertainment. Maybe not pro wrestling, but sports entertainment. And to hear him come out and say, "Yeah, man, it happened to me too," because he's far from the only guy. Like clearly, like there's a long list of guys who ain't around anymore who that happened to, and there's a long list of guys who are still around who that happened to. So it's for him to come out and address it as well, like, yeah, it happened to me too, is really kind of it's telling, but it's also as to just where things were in the late 80s through the 90s as far as pro wrestling was concerned. But it's also nice to see sort of how pro wrestling has evolved since then, because that's just not a thing anymore, right? Not only is steroids not a thing and everybody's a lot smaller, but the prescription drug abuse, the only guys who have still sort of had like those issues who still are around kind of are the older guys. Jeff Hardy obviously comes to mind. He's clearly still struggling with some demons, but seems to be on the path of straight and narrow, the path to recovery. He's fallen off the wagon a couple times, but at least he's still around. He still seems to be in pretty good health and pretty good shape. So, hopefully that can sort of become a thing that is of the past, where and now we can kind of move on, where the older generation will be like, yeah, hey, this happened to us. Let's not do this to the Seth Rollins and the Roman Reigns. And, maybe they don't need to wrestle, 9 matches a week and take those high shoulder bumps and take those unprotected chair shots and everything like that. And
you know what, dude? And I'm glad that you brought that up, because it was something that I eventually wanted to get to. And like Seth Rollins came out this week and said that he's got like a bunch of like spinal issues that he's been like wrestling
8 hairline fractures. Did he say 8 hairline?
Yeah, for the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. And it's like, bro, what?
Yeah, we didn't know. He's been putting on match after match, banger after banger for the last 4 years. He's been the workhorse.
Like, what? Are you fucking for real, bro? Like, this.
Part of me still is not sure that that's 100. I mean, clearly it's there's truth to it, but they've put it in the storyline, so maybe it's not like actually problematic. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I don't know that that's maybe they're trying to use it as an excuse to get Seth some time off. I mean, Shinsuke fucking would absolutely be believable to beat Rollins for this belt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Shinsuke is for sure. And truth be told, I would like to see Shinsuke get a world title run, regardless of which one it is. I would like to see Shinsuke get a world title run. I think he's only ever, if he gets one, he's only going to get one.
Yeah, 100% only getting one. And I think that we've got to be at that point in time in his career where it's kind of shit or get off the pot, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they're kind of just they're putting that out there because they maybe in the same token, and I don't know. I'm fucking spitballing here. It's like, what if they're doing that and they're going to take the belt off of Rollins, but they don't want everybody to be like, oh, I can't believe you didn't let Rollins have a reign. No, this is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because now, like, a lot of the folks, the chatter around this is like, hey, man, it's cool. Why don't you take some fucking time off, man? Like, we're in good hands right now. And that seems to kind of be the tone and tenor of the IWC, as far as this whole Rollins back thing. So, I mean, if it's as bad as he says that it is, my man's had a pretty fucking impressive 4 years to kind of be dealing with some serious spinal issues like that, right? Like,
yeah, and if it's a matter of, well, maybe he needs to just go rest until, and play with his kid, go home and play with your kid, like, and go home and play with his kid and rest, get all that, because SummerSlam's over. I think it would have been the wrong decision to take it off him as early as SummerSlam. But if they take it off him now and then he comes back around Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season after, whatever they need to do to help it heal a little bit, maybe just kind of alleviate some pain, alleviate some pressure, whatever. I think that if that's something that can be done, I think now is a great time, because he's already held on to that title for a little while, and it feels like it's been a good run. He's had some good defenses. It's been a few months, and if it has to switch hands now, I think Shinsuke's a great person to carry it for between August and through these kind of, let's face it, these are sort of dull months generally in the wrestling calendar. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I mean, we talk about it every year, and we start rolling into the holiday season, the end of the year holiday season, and things definitely start to slow down. As quick as they've picked up, as soon as you hit SummerSlam, WWE starts to considerably slow down. And Survivor Series is always the same old anymore. It's kind of like a throwaway event, and you're absolutely right. It definitely fucking slows down, and I think that right now would be a great time for Rollins to take some time. And I tend to agree with what the internet is saying about everything, and it's like, yeah, man, we're cool. Like, go hang out. It'll be all right.
And I think now, honestly, let's say hypothetically Shinsuke takes it off of him. It would be in 2 weeks anyway. Let's say it happens in 2 weeks and Rollins goes away for a little bit. I don't think anybody would be upset with that. Like, we would like him more when he gets back too. He would get that huge babyface pop.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I don't think it would be bad for his character either. I think it helps everybody and it hurts nobody if that's what happens, right? If that's all legit and that's what happens, I think it helps everybody. It helps Shinsuke. I think Shinsuke has a good title run, up to maybe even through the holidays. Who knows? Like, why the fuck not, right?
Yeah, drop it at the Rumble, man. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Go into WrestleMania season with a clean slate, you know.
Exactly. Put WrestleMania season with clean. Even if you want to put it back on Seth WrestleMania, you have from the Rumble to Mania to build it up. Probably with Balor. Honestly,
it'd be dope.
Yeah.
Or Damian Priest at this point, right? Like, I mean, that's still a thing. Like, Damian's running around with the Money in the Bank briefcase, which has become the laughingstock of the Judgment Day, and I kind of like what they're doing with the briefcase. The briefcase has become a star for the first time in a few years. Since Brock used it as a boombox.
Yeah, that was great. I loved when Damian slid it to Finn and it went through his legs.
Yeah, and they over the top sold it, and then out of nowhere, fucking the Judgment Day wins.
It up and bang!
And commentary's like, "Oh, he did that on Holiday," like
that was great. It was amazing. That was great. That was such a good. That slide could not have been more perfect. Like, they only had one chance to get that right. God, they knocked it out of the fucking park. It was so good.
Perfect.
It was. Do you think they practiced that beforehand?
They practiced that all fucking day.
They did. They were all three of them were out there. All three of them were out there in that ring for like 3 hours before that show started, pushing that briefcase.
Yeah, talking about video games. Just having a fucking regular conversation, just like, whenever you're hanging out, drinking a couple beers, you're just tossing a football around. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, that's what those guys were doing, but they were doing it fucking for that spot, and they nailed it. They nailed it.
They knocked it out of the park, and it was the spot of the night. Clearly, it's one of those. It's still drilled into our brains. So I could see that happen. Man, I hope he's okay. It seems like he is. It seems like this is being played up a little bit for the dramatics, but it seems like now is a good time for Seth to take a little break, get that sorted out so that he can continue to have the stellar career that he's been having and just maintain that for as long as he can or he wants to or whatever. Because it's not about money at this point for him, right? Like, he's made
enough for him. No,
he's signed enough big contracts that it's just, he can continue to live whatever lifestyle he wants to live. But clearly the lifestyle he wants to live is he wants to go to the events every night. And even when he's not really on the show, he'll have that extra match at the end of the night because that's the guy he is. Like, that's what he did in Pittsburgh. Both the last two shows we were there. He didn't wrestle on the Raw card when we were there, but then it was just like, oh, hey, here's a Seth Rollins match.
Yeah.
and it was the match of the night.
And we got a dope one against Austin Theory.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had that was a great one. That was one of the best Seth Rollins matches I can remember.
I mean, it was only like 6-7 minutes, but like, you know, him and Theory were a good little duo. It was a good send home match, man. It was good, and we all got to sing.
That's what I love about Rollins matches is they're just kind of like they start and they go full speed. Whether it's 20 minutes or 10 minutes, they're just full speed the whole time. Nobody stops. Well, he doesn't stop.
And then little Marcosaurus, you know, over here, Derek, fucking all week. I fucking hate Seth Rollins. And then we're there, and he's like, oh.
I mean, look, Derek is who he is.
Like, you fucking Mark. You know, like
what happens when you leave your balls in poopy water for 2 months?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm gonna have another one of those, aren't I? For saying that.
Yeah, probably.
Karma's gonna come back like, you got 2 cheeks, asshole.
Yeah, I have another one, bitch.
Yeah, there you go. This is your new problem now.
Hey, so we'll talk about, you know, Seth Rollins not having to worry about money, signing good contracts. So I guess reportedly, man, there's like this fear cloud of uncertainty just floating over WWE as we get closer and closer to the fulfillment of the merger between WWE and Endeavor for the TKO group. You know, and allegedly there's going to be some budget cuts.
Yeah,
that will be made.
I've seen the fear of cutting the budget as well. Man, I don't know. I feel like maybe, but I feel like the budget cuts will start particularly in NXT. They're gonna cut one. They're gonna let go whomever they want to go. Grizzled young vets are gonna go. That's gonna be part of those budget cuts. They're just gonna let them go.
They're unhappy anyways, man.
Yeah, they're just gonna let them go. I think we're going to see. I know, you know, we could talk about him later, but I think we're going to see continue to see less and less like of the old guard stars come back. I don't know. I mean, I would, as much as I've liked what he's done lately, I don't think we're going to get another big Brock contract. You know what I mean? Like a big Brock Lesnar contract.
Well, I mean, there seems to be a lot of chatter that like he's going to go have another fight in the UFC after this goes down, because technically he'll be employed by the UFC. So I mean, you know, he might dabble as that Jake Hager figure for AEW, where he fights, you know, big attraction matches in the UFC, and then
maybe,
you know, I don't, there's just, you know, the rumor mill's churning specifically on him. But you know where I think like a lot of these things are going to happen, and I didn't really think about it this way until I think I might have been listening to Busted Amp, and I don't fucking remember, or maybe it was Bischoff. One of these guys had said, well, you know where they're going to make their budget cuts is going to be in the office, because you're taking two companies that are in the same business, essentially, you know, combat sports, and the same, you know, some of the same deals in the same demographic, right? These folks are doing this job anyways, like marketing. You got 20 marketing folks, 10 on each side. You're going to run that motherfucker with probably 10, 15 people, you know? And I think that's, you know, the common folk is who's going to suffer from this merger. You know, and maybe AEW benefits from that.
So I have a thought on that too, because just, you know, I don't know if it's a topic we're going to bring up, but I'll get to that in a second. I do think that there's going to be, if and when there are budget cuts, I mean, I think I know who's going to go to. It's going to be a lot of the low, not the common folk per se. I think it's going to be a lot of the low hanging fruit. I don't see Viking Raiders sticking around. I don't see Karrion Kross sticking around. I don't see Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis sticking around.
Hey, how dare you disrespect Uncle Phil like that?
Look, they're done. I think Elias is gone. I mean, we haven't seen Elias in forever, but I think
there's a bunch of chatter about him that like The whole Ezekiel thing killed him.
I mean, I think he was dead before that, but yeah.
It's fucking. I'm sorry, but in my eyes, I feel like we missed the boat on that one.
I loved it too. I thought it was great, especially with like when he was like kind of feuding with Kevin Owens about it, and like Ezekiel was in the main event, and he was like, "Yeah, it was me and Elias and Elrod, and like all of that was just like." So it was over the top, but it was over the top in like the best way.
Yeah, like he was starting to get that shit over, and then the management change took place, and then he came
They
back
were like, grow your beard back, you're Elias again.
and like they just brought him back like with no explanation.
Yeah. Well, no, they killed Ezekiel. If you remember,
Ezekiel got hurt. Yeah,
killed Ezekiel.
But come on, man. But they definitely missed the boat on that one. And you're probably right. I mean, definitely some low-level talent's going to go, some low-hanging fruit, And I mean, who knows? Maybe the rest of Hit Row can join fucking Swerve Strickland, who says the WWE made a big mistake by releasing him that they can't take back. Yeah, pal, because that whole AEW run's going real well for you, isn't it?
Oh, buddy. Look, I like Swerve, and I think Swerve's matches are good. I think Swerve does a good job when he's on TV, but man, he could not. In WWE, he felt like a big deal. In AEW,
he was a big deal. Triple H made him a big deal.
Yeah, in AEW, he feels like a shark swimming through turds, man. Like it is not good. Like it's just when you're surrounded by terrible only. Like I don't care how good he is. Every segment he's been in has been with just the worst fucking people.
Well, I mean, he's got this whole fucking faction around him that like really doesn't make any sense. They
fired the first set of the faction.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense.
The N-word on television.
Yeah, he's the F-word on television.
8:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like, buddy, I mean, it couldn't like Swerve has done nothing wrong. Like, let me put that in a box.
I mean, he had a couple of great matches with Orange Cassidy. Like, he's had some really good fucking matches.
But he is surrounded by garbage constantly.
And I think that this is might be a thing where somebody hasn't told him no. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's like, oh, well, what about this guy? I want to put this guy by me. Oh, and it's like, no, Swerve, like you're bringing your own value down by having these folks around you, and like, I honestly feel like if he would just go off and do his own thing, like his star would shine brighter.
He does not need a posse of douchebags. And so far, that's what he's got. That's what he's had. And if that's been his doing, they should not let him book himself because he has been surrounding himself, if it's him, with the worst. Like people that know, but the people that have been surrounded by Swerve have not put a single butt in any seat ever. They've been responsible for TVs turning off, but they've not sold a seat. They've not kept eyeballs on the screen. It's been hot fucking garbage. The best thing he had going for him in AEW was his little tag team with Keith Lee. That was the best thing that both of them did.
Yeah.
But that died as quickly as it started. And Keith Lee looks like a fat wizard.
Keith Lee started to like make some very questionable creative decisions with his character. I mean, he's since gone back to pre-Bearcat Keith Lee, which is great. He's the limitless one again. But I think that these two guys, and I joked about it in the fucking.
You didn't like the fat wizard? You didn't think the fat wizard was a good gimmick?
Listen, I've made like zero reservations about my feelings about Keith Lee, right? Like I've not been a fan of Keith Lee for some time. Like even going back to NXT, like he had a great championship run. Like don't get me wrong. Then they fucking dropped the ball, but before that, I didn't get it. I didn't get the hype around Keith Lee. And then he goes to fucking AEW, and it's just like,
Man, it's hard. It's hard to figure out which, like, oh, finally in AEW they'll get the creative freedom they deserve.
So excited about Keith Lee going to AEW. And
We
like
all
having
were.
a
I mean,
chance to,
how could you not be? It was like, oh, they gave him the worst gimmick ever on the main roster, right? Bearcat, yeah, they gave him the dumbest shit they could have ever given him on the main roster, and then it's like, oh man, all they got to do is let him be limitless on AEW, and he'll be great. And there was like a squanch of shining hope that might happen. And they stuck him with Swerve, and it was like, oh, this is cool. And they were the tag champs for a hot minute, and then they turned on each other, and then like we never got a payoff to that. And then he was Dustin Rhodes' sometimes tag team partner, but like he was a fat wizard.
Then they were a tag team again, him and Swerve, and like
right,
because they were in the blind eliminator, and then they won some matches, and it's like, oh my god, are they going to get back together? Blah, blah, blah. Where are we at with these two guys? You know, and I think
that's the problem, is that we're fucking nowhere.
Right.
We're it's been like 2 years, and it's been stop start, and that's the story with AEW. Everybody stop start. Nobody gets over. If anybody even starts to get over, they disappear for a little bit, or their gimmick changes, or whatever, and nothing happens. Nobody's over, or they don't get to have a feud. They'll have a couple random matches, then they'll disappear for a couple weeks. And then they'll have a couple more random matches, and nobody ever gets any footing. Nobody ever does anything good.
Because what do you always say? Nobody's telling them no. Now I don't think that's a good idea. You know,
yeah. There's nobody back there with like a whiteboard going, you can't do that because last week we did this, and that makes no fucking sense, right? And not to say that WWE doesn't have problems like that too, because they absolutely do. But in AEW, it's almost like there's just they don't even try.
April, I need you to call Anthony for me, please. And tell him that the word no is an acceptable form of communication, please.
At least on Saturdays, when I will be on the program with my friend Samoa Joseph.
Bro, I just...
Although he did give him the worst GTS
it was
ever this
fucking
week.
god-awful.
Well, first of all, where'd he get that fucking jumpsuit? Because somebody should have told him no to that.
He should have told himself no to that.
He should have. When he was getting in that jumpsuit, he should have been like,
There's no way he looked in the mirror before he walked through the curtain and went, "Shooter."
Yeah, there's no way. I don't think he could see out of that mask.
Like, what the fuck, man?
I feel like he shouldn't have. But and then again, he has to be in a jumpsuit up to like his hand, because otherwise the tattoos give him away, and he's covered.
Yeah,
like so you have to cover all of his skin, or we'd know. Because my first thought was, oh, he looks like shit in that. Why would he go out in that? But then I thought, if any inch of his skin is exposed, we know exactly who that is. That it gives it away like that.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know, man. It's just, I understand like taking that chance, like, you know, and betting on yourself and going and doing your thing, like. But to make irresponsible comments like Swerve Strickland made, I can't get behind that. It's like, bro, we all appreciate you for you. Let's make some better fucking decisions for you.
Yeah, because your decisions have been, man, has he been like,
how many times? A very believable world champion.
Absolutely. But how many times in AEW has he walked out and you've gone, what the fuck? Like 90% of the time?
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been, it's been most of the time. It's what the who booked this fucking garbage? Like that's how I feel like for most of Dynamite generally, is who booked this fucking garbage. I feel like AEW is sort of like the one thing that is killing AEW right now is that they have shining stars who can book themselves. Adam Cole and MJF right now are must-see television.
Uh-huh.
That being said, the rest
It's
of
the festival
Dynamite,
of friendship, pal. It's the fucking festival of friendship.
it literally is the festival of friendship. They told Chris Jericho, "Hey, remember the thing you did with Kevin Owens that went really good? We're gonna do that, but with our own little spin on it, and it's gonna be great." And Jericho was like, "I'm gonna sing Judas in Wembley Stadium," and yeah. Did you like my Jericho impression?
Yeah, it was actually really good. It was actually really fucking good, pal. Like, I mean, it garnered a fucking pop, you know. Like, and the thing is, I had that queued up, and then you went to it. So like,
Sorry,
we'll do what we do. Let's talk about it real quick. But I mean, good for him, man. But what's he gonna do? Is he gonna sing himself to the ring? Is like that's what's gonna happen, right? He's gonna play himself to the ring.
It's gotta be what's gonna. Fozzie's gonna be on stage, and he's gonna come out. You are beautiful on the inside. That's gotta be what's gonna happen.
Try to fit his pose in while the pyro goes off.
That's
and
exactly
then pick it back up. I mean, that's
or he's gonna have it. He's gonna have the mic like from his like just the hands free, so that he can. I think that'll happen.
I mean, it's 100% got to be that. There's no way that his ego is that small
so
that he's not going to play himself out there. It'll
so
be great, Tony. It'll be great.
Nobody's ever done it, and then we're all gonna see exactly why nobody's ever done it. We're gonna be like, oh, because that was fucking not great. I don't think. Does Chris Jericho sing well? I've never seen Fozzy live.
Nah, I mean, me neither.
I can't imagine that it's like this. Just I can't imagine it burns the house down. You know. Or is he gonna lip sync it with his band? Because that might happen.
Huh?
That was my other thought. Is that like.
That would be so embarrassing.
Gonna lip sync it.
Well, I mean, maybe they're just banking on the crowd just taking care of it for them. You know what I mean? Like, and he only has to say a couple of things. You know, like the beginning.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. Is Chris Jericho? He's a heel right now, is he not? Or is that just me?
Yeah, he just joined Don Callis' family.
Yeah, so he has to be a heel. Don Callis has never been a babyface in his life, nor could he be, for being fair.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don Callis is a babyface right now. He's fucking.
Oh, what a white babyface Don Callis is. Everybody, when Don Callis busted himself open, when he fell down, like, people were like, fuck yeah!
Oh, shit.
Hold on, 2 seconds.
Oh, you gotta go get your hemorrhoid pillow?
No.
Hey, man, if you're here hanging out with us, we appreciate it. If you could go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, we'd greatly appreciate that. That's for certain. Also, subscribe. That'd be cool. Be real cool. You know, I'm about to roll into this Young Bucks and the Elite.
I spilled beer and I needed to get a wipe.
I see. So, but I don't know, man. It's just like Swerve's one of those guys that is just fucking just the drizzling shits.
Somebody once said you can open your mouth and prove you're an idiot, or you can keep it shut and let everybody think you're an idiot. He should have just kept his mouth shut, really. Because now
are you talking about Swerve Strickland, or are you talking about Derek?
No, I'm talking about Swerve. Because Swerve, phenomenal wrestler, great wrestler, good promo, has all the charisma that you want from a professional wrestler. However, seems to be able to book himself or something, have influence, and has no fucking clue what he's doing. And should really cut that shit out. And also shouldn't talk shit on WWE, because had he not signed AEW, he'd probably be on the run of a lifetime in WWE right now.
Yeah, with Triple H at the helm for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, because I mean,
like, they're gonna have to
Triple H
live
would
with
have
that.
taken Hit Row would be the bloodline right now.
I mean, I don't know about all that.
No,
but
I'm just saying it, pal. I said it, pal.
I mean, I don't know about all that, but I mean, they'd certainly be, they'd be feuding with the Judgment Day or
Instead
something.
of getting called Uncle Phil.
They wouldn't be getting called Uncle Phil. They wouldn't be jobbing.
Not nada.
They wouldn't be jobbing on a weekly basis. I mean, at least they job on television. I mean, I guess the Viking Raiders do too, but they wouldn't be jobbing on a weekly basis. Swerve would probably have been, the U.S. champ or something at this point. So I don't know. I read those and I thought that I was like, wait, does he think his AEW run's been good? Because it hasn't been. It's been objectively bad. I don't think does anybody think his AEW run's been good? Like, have you seen praise for it somewhere? Because like, I have not. Like,
No,
when they fired that guy with all the tattoos that was in his little faction, people were like, who? Oh, right, him. Yeah, that guy threw bad punches, and that's all he ever did on television.
I mean, I see like the chatter surrounding this particular comment has been very negative about Swerve's AEW run. But I feel like there's a portion of the internet specifically that feels like he's done okay for himself. I don't
I'd like to hear their reasoning as to why they believe that.
I don't. I won't build my walls on that side of the fence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not there. I'm not there. I think that it's been subpar at best.
Like I said, I don't think that he's a bad wrestler or a bad. I don't think that he's bad at his job. I just don't understand why he would think that his AEW run has been anything less than like kind of fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's that. I mean, that's it, and that's just my opinion. But I mean, I'm one of the people that actually turns this shit on. So,
hey, so
less than a million of us.
This is generally one of those times where I would just cut out and let you and Derek bitch about something. But I got to handle a problem.
Okay.
So if you can just rant about something that you want to rant about, and then we'll pick it back.
I'm going to rant about how bad AEW's been, if that's okay with you.
Hey, the floor is yours, pal. Just make sure you plug us once, huh?
Okay. So anyway, make sure you guys like and subscribe right now. Do it right now while you see my face. Do it right now while Walt's not here. I want to see like 3 to 5 more subscribers by the time Walt gets back. I don't know if that's going to happen, but do it right now. Anyway, so AEW right now. We just talked about why Swerve Strickland has had a subpar run, but he's not the only one. Andrade, where's my dude been? He's been on Saturdays lately, and that's been good, so it's hard for me to be like really shitty about that. But for the longest time, basically, like he got there, and then Chavo was his friend, and then he had Jose the assistant, and that was okay. Now finally he's on Saturdays, and he's being booked by. So I don't know who books Saturday, but it's not the guys in the ring necessarily, and it seems to just go a lot better from start to finish. And Miro and I guess Aleister Black or Malachi Black, excuse me, has sort of turned a corner too. But time after time, we've seen this kind of shit with AEW. And honestly, this week's Dynamite may have been the worst Dynamite that I've seen in a really, really long time. The highlight of why it was terrible is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match. For For those of you who didn't watch it, good for you, but I'm going to let you know what happened. So it was Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett, which obviously fucking two old guys. Jeff Jarrett's probably what? I mean, he looks phenomenal, but Jeff Jarrett's like what, 60? He's an old man. Jeff Hardy obviously had his own problems. Glad he's back. Glad he could wrestle again. Seems to be fine. But this was two old men hitting each other slowly and blading. Lots of blood. Lots of fake blood, too. There was fake blood in this match as well. That was kind of cleared on the internet. It was cleared beforehand. We knew there was going to be fake blood in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match. Who'da thunk? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is on Game Pass now, by the way. Thanks, Derek, for not being here. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre match had fake blood in it. So, anyway, whilst watching this fake blood match that really kind of didn't go anywhere, it was just violent for the sake of being violent. But there was also fake blood, and there was blading, and there were weapons, and there was barbed wire and everything. Well, at the end of this match, before it was totally over, out comes somebody dressed as Leatherface. Those of you who don't know, Leatherface is the guy with the crazy guy with the chainsaw. His name's Tommy in the movie. And if you see, anyway, comes out with a chainsaw. Chainsaw doesn't have a chain on it, doesn't have teeth on it. It's not really even on. He's just waving it around, and I think they're pumping chainsaw sounds through the speakers. Really just cheesy. It's very it harkens back to me to WCW Thunder. The clip's online, you can go watch it if you want, but it was just a mess. I mean, the whole match wasn't very good, and I'm not a big fan of hardcore matches, but this one obviously also had fake blood involved, and it was just a mess from start to finish. And then you bring out what's obviously like, Leatherface is not a real person. It's a movie. They've remade the movie. It's like bringing the Scream guy out. It's like when The Miz got eaten by zombies, and we crucified that because it was really stupid. And the internet crucified that, and they did that on Dynamite. And man, it's just watching AEW Dynamite especially is just it's become so difficult because it's such a bad show. It's like they think that because they just have MJF and Adam Cole doing a good segment for 20 minutes or so, that the rest of the show can be so bad. And it's kind of like it's not even booked. It just kind of happens. And nobody seems to know where they're supposed to be. Nobody seems to have wrestled in the last week since the last time they wrestled, or have talked through a match, because the matches seem very stutter-steppy, especially the women. The women's matches are particularly bad. The Bunny versus Britt Baker was really not a good match. The Bunny threw a punch to Britt Baker that I know she meant to look like she followed all the way through, but she missed Britt entirely and just punched next to her head and then made a crazy face at the camera. But the camera zoomed in on her, missing the punch missed her head by this much. And you could see that because the camera was right there. Missed her head entirely. And then they replayed it. So it's everything. It's not like, production's a mess. Because production is a mess on Dynamite. But it's not just production. Wrestling's a mess on Dynamite. Booking's a mess on Dynamite. It's a mess from start to finish. And it's like, you let Adam Cole and MJF go out there for 20 minutes, and it's like, people are going to watch because they want to watch that particular part of the show. But that's 20 minutes of a 2-hour show. So you're telling me that 1/6 of the show is good, because that's actually good. And I'm sure it's probably because nobody else is booking this fucking thing. It's probably those two guys actually putting something together that's worth watching, because those two guys are actually good at what they do. And they seem to have figured out that, hey, you know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. What we can do is do stuff together, and we can make however much time we get, which Tony's going to give us time because he doesn't want to write the rest of this show, we can do something good for this 20 minutes, and that'll save the show. But their saving the show is really kind of just letting this terrible Dynamite show limp on and on and on, because he doesn't have to change it, because there's a good Adam Cole and MJF angle. If it was in the toilet and it was losing TV, if it was down to 500,000 people or 400,000 people because people were just shutting this crap off because it sucked, and they didn't have one top tier Adam Cole MJF segment, and then maybe some other middling, like, you know, they're going to let I don't understand why there's still the Blackpool Combat Club. Like, the guy that made it, Blackpool, like, doesn't even work for the company anymore. He's a top guy, main producer for WWE right now, which is their competition, but they're a second-rate promotion. They really are, and it's the number 2 promotion, and it's very obvious that it's the number 2 promotion. That being said, I think it's problematic because it being this sort of just consistent viewership, at least on Wednesdays, of like 700-800K, is really kind of like just letting it limp along. Like, okay, they're not losing subscribers. The network doesn't give a shit about wrestling. And, you know, they're just letting it limp along because it works in the time slot for them. And that sucks, because what it does is AEW then can kind of suck the rest of the talent pool out. Basically, anybody who's not who's any good who's not in WWE is in AEW. And then, so that means Impact sucks because it just lacks talent. They've got pure chooches on NWA, and that sucks because it lacks talent too.
That's pretty harsh, pal.
Have you watched?
I mean, not
they got
that's
all they got. Anyway, so right now, like, AEW is sucking. Not only are they sucking on television, but they are sucking the talent pool dry as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword of, like, you know, yeah, I love to watch MJF and Adam Cole, but at the same time, like, their success maintains the eyeballs, and it just allows AEW to continue to just fucking blow on Wednesday.
You mean to tell me that the viewership that's coming in is because of fucking MJF and Adam Cole, and it's not because Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are just signed a fucking NBA money fucking contract with
has nothing to do
creative
with
control?
In fact, they generally lose a few viewers when the elite come on.
Like, you're such a hater, pal.
Look, I'm spitting facts, buddy. Spitting facts.
Like, such a hater.
Look, I watch Saturday. Look, do you not watch on Saturday? Saturday's show is so fucking good. I don't know who's booking it, but it ain't who books
April. Who is at the door, please? I mean, but I hear you. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I wish it was good. I'm still fucking watching it. That's the problem, is that I put it on and I'm like, why did I put this on? And I think that the entire time that MJF and Adam Cole aren't on the TV. That's what I think.
You're such an Adam Cole mark.
I really, look, I feel like almost everything he does turns to gold. And he's going to win gold in Wembley Stadium with the help of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong.
No, well, you know what I think will happen? I think they're going to win the Ring of Honor Tag Champions in the 0 hour, and then
maybe
he's going to beat MJF for the belt, and they're going to have problems.
I mean, that could be good too.
Told you. Hey, Cocaine Tony told you a couple weeks ago, pal. It's going to be Adam Cole's going to turn on MJF. I mean,
Tony that's the other problem, is Tony needs to just stop dropping the ball. Like, what? Like, shut up. Stop it. Like, stop doing what you're doing, because you're fucking up.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. But like I can't help but agree with your assessment of the Dynamite situation, pal.
It's
I just
I want it to be good. Like I've got it on. That's the problem. Like if they've got something on there that's drawn my attention, right? And if Adam Cole and MJF were also on Saturday, I would not watch Wednesday. I would not. I do not give a shit about the Blackpool Combat Club. I do not give a shit about the Elite. I don't think anybody does. And I think that's clearly a problem. But I don't think anybody cares anymore about those people because they've not done anything interesting in a long time. And not only have they not done anything interesting, but nothing that they've done has gone anywhere. Right? Like, has it gotten anybody a title shot at anything? Has anybody?
well, I mean, Claudio is the Ring of Honor champion.
Oh, okay, yeah. Has he defended it? When was the last time he defended it?
Like a couple weeks ago.
Against who?
I don't remember.
Because nobody cares. It doesn't fucking matter. Could have been Swerve Strickland. We wouldn't care, but it wasn't.
I mean,
that would have been better.
Mox was just the world champion. Like
a
not really
year
that
ago.
long ago. It wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was like last summer.
Wild thing.
Last summer, dude.
You make my heart sing.
Last summer.
You make everything groovy, including butt fungus.
I didn't have fungus. It was an abscess. It was terrible.
No, you say tomato, I say tomato, pal. You know, like
fungus is like well, there wasn't growth. It was infection. It's different.
You know what's different? Luchasaurus cheating on his girlfriend on Big Brother, unmasked.
Did that happen?
I guess so. I don't know. I saw it here. The caption is Luchasaurus regretted cheating on girlfriend in unmasked Big Brother interview. So he talked about cheating on his girlfriend while he was on Big Brother with no mask on. Somebody in the comments says, "You mean to tell me he's not really a fucking dinosaur? What the hell?
What the fuck? I thought he was a dinosaur.
This whole time he lied.
Liars. Liars. Why?
Hey,
wait, if he's not a dinosaur, does that mean he can talk? Why does he need Christian?
Because Christian's the real TNT champion.
Clearly. Luchasaurus is not a good wrestler.
Hey, you will be happy to know, and I'm going to give zero context to this for our audience, but because I'm sure you're going to elaborate when I say this, but I'm really happy for you, Tom.
Why?
I'm really happy for you. Good old JR announced that there was no cancer found in his recent MRI.
Oh, thank God. Does that mean he's not going to show us his fucking foot on Twitter anymore?
Yeah, I doubt that he's going to stop showing you his fucking foot.
Oh my God. Like I have unfollowed this man because randomly I'll just be scrolling Twitter and there's JR's fucking infected foot. Like, oh, what the fuck? Like no warning. No, like not safe for work. Hit the button. Like none of that. It's just like, hey, you want to see a big fucking open gooky wound on my old man foot? Like, fuck you, JR. Cut that shit out. Nobody wants to see that. Don't put it on the internet. Or if you do, put that blurry, not safe, like mark it not safe for work so I don't have to click on it. So that when I see it's JR's barbecue, I'm not thinking, oh, boobies. I'll be thinking like fucking infected foot. Like, and not click
on it.
And
then it'd be like Beefcake in the ring with the big X over the screen.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I don't want it. Just, it needs to stop.
Listen, I'm happy good old JR didn't have no more cancer, man.
Yeah, me too. But fuck.
I don't follow him on the X platform just
I don't either anymore.
Because of what you told me.
Yeah, I don't either anymore. Too many times where I was just like scrolling around like, oh, I'm looking at wrestling shit on the internet. Look at me.
Well, he can put it on. He can put it on the old Twitter because they don't have any like community guidelines. Like, you know,
There's
he's
no
a safe follow.
Guidelines on Twitter.
He's a safe follow on Instagram because he just never posts on there. So
fair enough. But I probably follow him on Instagram and he just doesn't post, so I don't ever see. But he puts his fucking fucking meat deranged. Is just his foot can only be like described as like if you were to take all of the bloody terrible shit at the bottom of a slaughterhouse and make a foot out of it.
Jesus Christ, bro.
That's what JR's foot looks like.
Hey, how you feel about JR being back on Saturday nights?
It was good this week. I thought he would. Number one, I think Kevin Kelly is phenomenal. Same thing with Nigel. Nigel's great.
Yeah, but hasn't Ian Riccoboni been doing commentary, not Kevin Kelly?
It was Kevin Kelly last week. But yes, you're right, because they had they've had Ian as a part of the 3-man booth as well. But Ian was not there last night. It was just Nigel and Kevin. And then JR joined them for the main event. And no, JR sounded great.
Do you think that's going to be like his spot now? He just comes out and just calls the main event because he can't be trusted to do an entire 2-hour show?
I mean, I think that's how they'll ease him in for sure. I would imagine we'll see him call some main events probably for the rest of the month, maybe next month too. But I do think that eventually we're going to get more and more JR on Saturdays. I would think first, the main event seemed to make sense. They may move it up, give him a whole hour, maybe, and then just see how it goes. Maybe let him go the whole 2.
I thought it was really cool that like they did his little entrance on TV.
Yeah, I did too.
It's good for him, man.
Honestly, I thought everything that they did this Saturday, I thought was really good. The first match they had where they had Dalton Castle walk out, and I know who Dalton Castle is, but the boys that come with him, it's the perfect kind of ridiculous.
It's great.
It's so like he comes out so like beautifully proper and like great. Kind of he's a peacock, right?
It's great. He's ready built for the fucking E, bro.
Well, he was a former Ring of Honor champion, so and I mean his wrestling's very good. I think that he's had some back issues because he wears that brace in the ring. But no, I thought he put on a good match too. It was a good starter match, and I think that really kind of kicked off. And then clearly, CM Punk, although I like when he has influence on things, it's a better show. Like it's hard to argue that at this point. Like when he's around, or when he's on the show, it's a better show, and that's I can't argue that. His go to sleep on Samoa Joe was the worst go to sleep I've ever seen in my life. Maybe some of that's Joe. I don't know. But maybe 2 45-year-old men shouldn't be trying to do things they can't do together anymore. I don't know. That's just me. Samoa Joe can clearly choke out CM Punk, and that looks great. CM Punk giving Samoa Joe the GTS. Maybe they're both past giving and taking that move to each other. But we found that out. No, because that's taped. They taped that and they decided, we're still putting this on TV. So that shit happened, which was kind of a mess. And then there was the rest of the show that was pretty good. So I don't know. Saturday is the day to watch AEW. If you're gonna watch, if you got to watch AEW, watch it on Saturday. And then go back and watch the MJF and Adam Cole segment from Wednesday. And you don't need to watch anything else because literally nothing else happens. If we're being serious, like there's storylines on Saturday that are consistent, and then on Wednesday there's a mess of things that happen. Maybe there'll be a good match, and then MJF Adam Cole will have a thing, and that'll be good.
We'll see.
I mean, I could be wrong, and next week it'll be amazing from start to finish, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's like having all of your clothes get folded perfectly in the dryer, and when you open the dryer, it's like bing, and then there's all your clothes perfectly folded right there. The potential is there, but the probability is very low.
Captain Insano shows no moisey.
No moisey.
Hey, well, I guess Captain Insano is going to be at All In. I mean, that sounds like a fucking great idea.
Just going to no-sell it from a movie that's 25 years old. Just have him come out, Is he gonna be bald headed? Is he gonna wear a wig?
Dude, if he wears a wig, I'll die.
I mean, it'd be better. He's got to wear a wig, right?
Oh, it'll be the biggest botch of all time.
If he wears a wig?
Yeah.
I mean, look, him coming out as Captain Insano is going to be the biggest botch of all time. So whether he wears a wig or not is not really the botch. You all right there?
Oh, I got leg cramp real bad.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh, real bad. Okay. Whew. Okay. Oh, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Back to where Walt's not hurt anymore.
Whew. Oh, man. Fucking hell to get old.
Like I said, I was looking at my beard in older videos like, fuck, look at all the gray that's in there now.
Ah, damn.
So gray before. Goddamn 720p.
Oh, shit. I really need to fucking just start paying for the upgrade. Hey, so Gunther fucking took the L this week, huh?
He sure did. Not the L that would lose him the title, but honestly, I was really shocked that he lost, and I went, what? But why? Why would we do it? Like, it was a little confusing, but at the same time, like, I get it. It was a big moment for Chad, clearly, and they gave him the time to have it be a big moment. So, and they said going out there was like, oh, Gunther is only 17 days from, beating the Honky Tonk Man's record as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. And I didn't think he was going to lose the title, but I also didn't think he was going to lose the match.
And that's his first loss since joining the main roster, if you don't count the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Well, it's his first singles competition loss.
Yeah. Now, I'm fairly certain it's his first loss.
Well, I think they've lost as like a 3-on-3 tag match. They've lost those. Like, usually they have one of the cronies take the pin.
I'm sorry. A 3-on-3 tag. You mean a trios match?
A trios match. Yeah. Well, it's not a trios match in WWE because that's not how that works. But he's lost in a trios match before when either Ludwig Kaiser has taken the pin.
Yeah, that dude's a fucking star waiting to happen.
He's phenomenal. He's just not as big as Gunther, and that's why he's not pushed as hard, but he's just as good. Yeah. His mic, oh my god. Him on the mic cracks me the fuck up.
And him flirting with what's her nuts now, fucking Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, that's awesome. He cracked, like I said, he's fucking hilarious. He's actually Tiffany Stratton's. He's dating Tiffany Stratton in real life.
Yep.
It's not kayfabe.
Good for him, man.
Right? Good for him.
Good for him. I mean, he is a beautiful man.
He is, but good for him. I like when people that I like have good things happening in their lives. It makes me happy. So there's this vicarious happiness.
You know what would make me happy? The American Cream Buster Rhodes, baby. Little Thakita Lions, So you're saying, I love whenever I log into the show's Instagram and she's the first one that pops up always.
I mean, she posts a lot.
It's just makes my day.
I mean, she's not good at wrestling, but
I mean, she's
a hell of
got a lot of upside, bro. She's got a lot of upside, though.
Yeah, she's got a lot of backside too, but when the upside is the backside.
Ba-doom. Hey, bub. About time.
We're going to talk about him, eh?
To talk about the news that has set the wrestling world on fire this week. Cash Wheeler of FTR fame turned himself in earlier this week on a aggravated assault with a firearm charge.
Bang, bang, bang. Did you see the video?
No, there's a video?
There's a video.
Oh.
I don't know if it's actually the video, but what I saw in this video, and I think it's real. What I saw in this video is there's a guy that pulls up next to him at like a red light or whatever, that's just giving him the finger and like cussing, what the fuck, man? And so Cash gives him the finger back, and then he keeps going on, blah, 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 blah. And after the finger doesn't work, out comes the 9mm, and then this guy speeds off.
There's no way that's like, I'm Googling it right now, and like I'm not seeing.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I just saw it on Twitter, and maybe it's not the same thing. Maybe it's not real.
I mean, bro, that's like evidence and shit.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that it's real.
Okay,
but I think based on the description, I think that's what happened, and I think somebody maybe just reenacted it.
Okay, I was gonna say that's not good. There's a video.
Well, look,
that's
man,
not good.
We watched that Dark Side of the Ring. Marty Jannetty like tripled down on the murder confession. They literally go to the fucking bowling alley.
Like, as crazy as that was, I was still a little bit. As crazy as he was with that, and we'll get back to Cash Wheeler in a second. As crazy as that episode was, I felt a little unfulfilled. Like, I think that we hyped that up so much because of just the exploits of Marty Jannetty on the Facebook, and it was, I mean, it was both sad and fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
tame, though. It was a little tamer than I expected it to be.
Yes. That.
Like I expected it to be a little more over the top.
But they definitely tripled down on
down. They went to the fucking bowling alley. They're like,
allegedly.
Right, allegedly. Right. They
it was a wrestling storyline, pal.
Yeah, that's what it was. Get the cops off his back.
Just like this aggravated assault with a weapon charge is this wrestling storyline. So I guess allegedly what had happened was, Cash was driving his Jeep Gladiator, you know, his JT, and he's like, just, hey, motherfuckers, right? A lot of top personalities in the wrestling world have come out this week and been like, this sounds like some bullshit. Cornette said it sounds fucking suspect as fuck, which, I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. The couple down south North Carolina boys, you know.
Yeah.
Old school wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Snitches get stitches.
It's just really strange to me. All of this is just really, really strange to me.
It seems very out of character. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It seems very out of character.
Like, I feel like he portrays such an even-keeled dude. And
he's never been in trouble before, which is that's important. Like, it's important to establish that, like, this isn't just another bump in the road of him getting in his own way kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this is we're talking about a guy who's been on the straight and narrow, showed up to every match, wrestled it to the fullest of his ability, never had a problem, no DUIs, no assault charges, none of that shit, right? Nothing. Very and also seemingly a very open book as far as a human being is concerned. Is on podcasts, is just very active within the wrestling community, and just, goes to signings, goes to all this stuff. Nobody has a bad word to say about him, right?
Right.
Like, so it makes sense that people are like, well, that's seems weird as shit. That seems out of character. People that know him, right? because let's face it, Jim Cornette knows him. They're friends. They've met. Jim Cornette was going to manage them in AEW for a hot minute. Like, that was going to happen.
No, it wasn't. Cornette would have never worked in AEW, pal. Come on.
They talked about it.
Come on. I mean, listen, I could talk about fucking little thingies fucking growing out of my butt. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
God damn it, Walt. Why are you going to bring that up?
I mean, you shouldn't have fucking told me, pal. You didn't want me to know.
Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. It's not a secret.
I mean, you didn't want me to fucking keep talking about it. You probably should have brought it up.
All right, you're right. You can talk about it. Okay.
I'm just saying, but I mean, if we've learned anything from this, we've learned that, I mean, FTR clearly stands for Flash the Revolver, right?
I don't think it was a revolver, but yeah, clearly that's what it means.
Okay. I mean, gotta be something, right? But all joking aside, like, it just seems really strange to me, and like you said, not a lot of people have bad things to say about this guy. And like, I feel like Dax is a little unhinged, but I think that's his anxiety thing, that he's very outspoken about his mental health and stuff like that, more than anything. But I mean, he just fucking loves that guy, and I mean, he's friends with Edge and Beth Phoenix. Like, I just don't.
They live down the street. They're neighbors.
Yeah, like I just don't understand, right? And to just be like driving, bobbing and weaving in and out of traffic, according to this police report, just to like pull up next to somebody and flash a gun.
Yeah,
it's strange, and even Kevin Nash was like, "Listen, man, if somebody's driving erratically on the fucking interstate, like, everybody does whatever they can to avoid that. Yeah. Like, you're gonna just willingly follow this guy that just showed you a gun? Like, what?
Yeah, that's not."
So Kevin Nash seems to think that they were involved in a road rage incident together, which, actually makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, right? Because, like today I dropped a rental car off at the fucking Pittsburgh airport today, and like my guy followed me in my car, so I got, and was pulling out fucking. There's a bunch of construction in Pittsburgh airport right now, the roadways are all fucked up, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like pulling out of the rental car place and clearly stopping at the stop sign. This guy's coming on the main thing, slams on his brakes in front of me, throws his fucking hands up. What do you want me to do, go?
Yeah, right.
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I returned fire, pun intended. Yeah. I had some shit to say. So like, that makes a lot more sense. So to me, this really feels kind of like self-inflicted gunshot wound, right? Like somebody just you brought your middle finger to a gunfight. Like, what do you want, bud?
Maybe, yeah. And I think maybe something like that happened.
And to me, it's like really weird that this is such a trumped up charge in Florida, considering the crazy shit that happens in Florida on a daily basis. I feel like this should be like that's just how we say hi.
Just Florida.
Yeah, like I mean,
Florida.
I don't
feel like that happens all the time. You've driven in Florida.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Time. It's like
it's nuts.
Like last time I drove in Florida, I'm like, do I want to have my children in a car in Florida? The answer was no, but we were there. I didn't have a choice at that point.
Didn't really have much of a choice, Yeah.
The next time we went back, I rode the Magic Express instead. Did not rent a car. Figured, you know what? The buses are going to be a lot more steel and go than whatever fucking Kia they give me. Drive off the lot.
I mean, I think that the thing that we can take from this, I'm assuming they're still promoting them for All In Wembley this week. I'm assuming that there's no, international travel issues or anything like that. I guess they didn't take his passport,
right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, how like that international travel is kind of strange. I mean, fuck, the goddamn Usos can't even get into Canada with each other.
Well, they've been convicted, so that's the problem.
So I don't.
There's that whole conviction thing.
So I'm gonna be really interested to see how this plays out. I mean, I'm looking at the video of his hearing, his arraignment. It's like 29 minutes. I found somebody posted like the whole fucking thing. It's like 30 minutes. I obviously haven't watched that yet.
They're sitting at like this little fold out table, like in steel chairs.
You know, and the video looks like it's from the fucking 80s. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it was filmed on a 4x3 VCR recorder.
You know, so. But that was me. You don't hear it anymore?
No, it's back. It's better.
Okay.
My computer thought it was going to go to sleep or something.
Oh, dude. That's why we kind of started a little bit late, because I texted you. I said, hey, I'm getting ready to fucking... You're like, take your time. And I was almost ready to send the invite, and my computer just went... Boom. So I had to reboot everything. And
mine was like, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm like, no, you're not. Don't do that.
So, I don't know, man. Like, I just, like you said, this is very out of character. And for me, I'm having a really hard time, like, wrapping my head around all of this. And I'm going to watch this intently moving forward. And I think that no action is the right action at this point in time.
Yeah.
And
nobody got hurt. Like, it's very important to point out that, like, there's no actual injury in this, right?
Yeah,
so
but like
very much she said at this point, and nobody's hurt.
I mean, all we have is a picture of Cash Wheeler's license plate and this guy's word, right? And it's kind of strange, and it's like, I think that the weird circumstances surrounding it is probably why I feel the way that I feel, right? Because it's like, you hit the rewind button and we go back and we talk about, Jeff Hardy and, the fireball to the brain doctor. We all kind of felt pretty strongly about the poor decisions that were made here. In that case,
cycle, right? Like that's a perpetual. It's that happens perpetually, right? Like this wasn't the first time, second. This was like the 35th time, right? That this has happened, and there was a video.
Yeah, there was a video.
So it's that's the kind of like it's a very like there's one thing to there's a I saw this guy do this. That's one thing. A video and it being the like 30th time, and him pleading whatever, no contest or whatever. It's a different circumstance altogether. I would like to think that this is just overblown and is gonna probably blow over. Probably like the Sonya Deville thing. Remember when Sonya Deville had a gun and she wasn't supposed to have a gun, but like clearly everybody was like, "Nah, Sonya can have a gun."
But she had the proper documentation in her home state, and like this, this was a clerical thing. This is not that. These aren't. I don't even think that we can compare these two, because
that's fair.
She wasn't out flashing it in traffic. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just, it's really strange to me, and I don't like that part of it. It's just like you said. Like I continue to go back to that. You said it. It's very out. It seems very out of character.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be watching this one, paying attention to this one as the events unfold. But hopefully it gets worked out, man. And I mean that's what everything's all about. But I mean he turned himself in, so I mean I've got to feel like maybe there's some truth to. I don't fucking know, bro. I really just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, he didn't do anything, and that, but I mean, nobody got hurt either, so there's also that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like all's well that ends well, kind of a thing. Like,
What if this guy was like, what if they were in traffic and this guy's like a fucking huge mark, and he's like, oh my God, it's Cash Wheeler. Hey, can you get your autograph, Cash? Huh? I loved you guys in WWE. The Revival was sweet, man. Like, can you sign my baby's forehead? Can no, you don't want to sign my what if we sign my dashboard? No, you don't want to get out of your car.
What about my penis? Will you sign my penis?
Yeah, like look, it's big enough for your signature. I'm sure of it, man.
It can say you just write dash.
No. Well, fuck you then, man. Okay, motherfucker. Like you fucking ruined my life here, man. Like I'm gonna get you back. And then he just like follows him down the fucking road, takes a picture, and says, "Oh my God, Cash Wheeler fucking pulled a gun on me. You can't believe it." What if it's that?
Maybe. I mean, then that guy should go to jail because that's.
I mean, they were in Orlando. Like, I mean, there's crazy fucking wrestling fans running all around Orlando.
I mean,
there.
there's lots of crazy people
Sonya
in
Deville
Florida.
and fucking Mandy Rose.
There's lots of crazy people in Florida.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting as it continues to unfold. I'm going to make sure that we keep paying attention to this one. Guess we'll just figure it out, man. All right, man. Well, there's only one thing left to do.
So if we had done this yesterday, I'd have a much harder time with this. However, we're doing it today. Therefore, I have a very easy time because my match of the week is Gunther versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental title.
Listen, I love the fact that he continues to call it the Intercontinental Heavyweight Wrestling Championship, like the Honky Tonk Man used to do. As he gets ever so closer to beating his record.
16 days today. 16 days left. It was 17 yesterday. There's only 16 left now.
Tell me
that
about
was,
it.
I mean, just the finish of it. One, they beat the shit out of each other, which was great. Chad Gable is right now on the run of his lifetime. And to have Otis and Maxine Dupree with him is really icing on the cake. Gunther, same thing. When we were all very like, they're going to change his name. They bring him up to the main roster. And then it's just been fucking fire. And it's like, nope, he's Gunther now. And it's great. And it's been great. And
it has been great.
This was no exception. This was great. Love the finish. Love that they were, Chad didn't win the title, but suplexed Gunther over the barricade, beat in the ring to beat the 10 count. I have no problems with the finish. I thought the match itself was phenomenal, start to finish.
You didn't have a problem with the finish?
I did not have a problem with the finish.
Oh, did you have a problem with the 96 SummerSlam finish, 93 SummerSlam finish, whatever it was, the Lex Express, huh? Because that's what happened.
Probably not. No, I was a child. I was like 8. I was like 9. I didn't deep think finishes then either. But I liked it. I liked it from start to finish, and I thought it was a phenomenal Raw match. I really liked Raw last night. Raw's been a good show every week, and it continues to be. Raw actually, wrestling wise, is the A show because nobody really wrestles on Friday. It's all really lots of quick like things that happen, and like the matches are 5-ish minutes, and nobody really wrestles on Friday. But Raw is where all the good wrestling happens, and there was lots of good wrestling on Raw last night, and that was my match of the week because it was the best match on the best show with the best wrestling. So there we go.
Well, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and disagree with you, pal, because I do believe that there was great wrestling on Friday night for about 26 minutes, give or take, and that would be the Rated R Superstar Edge versus Sheamus.
They did have a great banger that actually got time. Nothing else got time on Friday. No. That got time.
And you know what I mean? It was the 25th anniversary of Edge, the big celebration. Very much was treated like a retirement night, the proper full send off that he didn't get, some 13 years ago. And it was really cool to watch. I thought it was a great episode of SmackDown. It's no secret to anybody that Edge is one of my all-time favorite performers in WWE.
Edge shirt.
I've enjoyed everything that he's been a part of, even like the go back now and you watch it with a certain appreciation. When Edge first made his debut as that silent, weird psycho guy, that was like screaming in the dark in the vignettes. It's like that. You appreciate that a little bit because he had to start somewhere to get to where he is, right? And I don't know, man. If this was Edge's last match, he couldn't have fucking picked a better opponent, and they couldn't have had a better fucking match. I thought that, it was hard hitting. It had some great high spots. It told the story of, these two top-notch competitors, these old dogs, and you alluded to that earlier. And, man, it was great. And I enjoyed every single piece of business that happened in that match. And, if that was Edge's last match, fucking got nothing but A's across the board for me.
I like that Sheamus gave him the shillelagh at the end. I like that too.
Yeah, it would definitely, if I was Dave Meltzer, it'd be 7 stars in the Thunderdome. I mean, it was a phenomenal piece of fucking business on television on Friday night, and I was very, 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 very enjoyed my time.
I like that he got to hug his family too before.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Beth just in the audience.
Yeah, she was crying, so you knew it was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then what happens? Fucking wake up on Saturday morning and it's like, Edge is going to AEW. He's gonna have a run with Christian. This is gonna be great. And it's like, but is he though? That's
a hard sell. I mean, I don't. You want to think, I think, that Edge probably wants to do something to finish up with his buddy, right? But was it not a good enough finish to just finish up, when they met in the Royal Rumble and had a big hug about it? Was that not enough at this point?
I think that was plenty enough.
Like, do they have to have some kind of like half-cocked AEW? Because here's the thing: if AEW was like a good promotion that was gonna not fuck that up, that's one thing. But it's not really, like it's just, I had a whole rant here in the middle of this episode as to why it's really not
right.
And
I mean, I think we touched on it too in our Swerve Strickland conversation.
Like, yeah, it's not going to be, it won't be this monumental earth-shattering thing that like the internet wrestling community wants to fantasy book it as. It'll be a like limp dick kind of wet fart.
You want to know exactly? I'm going to put words to what you're trying to say,
please.
And I think that if it were to occur in AEW, I don't think that it would mean anything. And after it happens, a lot of people are going to be like, man, was that really worth that?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be like that. It's like, okay, like when Ric Flair had his last match against Shawn Michaels in WWE, and that like meant, Shawn looking at him going, "I'm sorry, I love you."
It was perfect.
That's what should be burned in our brains, right? But
not
then
Rick
went and had
bleeding.
Right, yeah. But then like Rick went and had a bunch more matches in TNA and had his other last match, like
where he fell asleep on the ring canvas.
Yeah, where he fell asleep.
He admitted that.
He did. Like,
yeah, it's pretty bad, bud.
So right, but it's like it would feel like that, and I don't think that you need to do that exactly. Like, if Edge gets to just go on this like legacy, contract, and then maybe he and Christian at some point have a little thing, or even if they just show up, to say something or do something.
Yeah,
they don't necessarily have a match or anything, just to have like their own little
5-second pose, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
For those with the benefit of flash photography.
Exactly. Like, just do something like that. And I don't think that it needs to be, oh, let's have him go to AEW and have a run for the marks. Like, no, let's not.
Yeah, no, and I think that if that were to happen, it would be a
Tarnish.
stain
Yes.
on what this return to professional wrestling has meant to Adam Copeland.
Yeah, absolutely. It would feel like just a cheesy. It would feel like cheesy bullshit because I feel like for the most part, everything he's done since coming back has been really good.
Yeah.
And why would you go to do something that's potentially, probably?
He's been a big deal since he's come back.
Yeah,
Like,
and why would he leave to go do something that's not like even a shadow of as good?
and I speak that way because I know how I, as a true fan of his body of work, feels about the possibility of him maybe going over to the other side, and I wouldn't mind it from the standpoint of getting to enjoy him for a little while longer, but at the same point in time, it's like, please don't do that.
No, yeah, it's because he couldn't be Edge either. Like,
it's not worth it.
Like, because obviously Christian is Christian Cage.
He'd be Sexton Hardcastle. It would be fine. We would all get it.
Yeah, I'm just. I don't know.
All right.
I don't like it either. I think you and I are in agreement there, but it was a good match. I agree. And if that's the last one, I don't think anybody should be sad about it. Or I think he's clearly had a Hall of Fame career. He had a Hall of Fame career.
He's had 2 Hall of Fame careers. I absolutely believe that this could be a second Hall of Fame run. How much it's meant for from the emotional connection standpoint. I'm just saying.
And hey, look, he could be a double. Look, I think that what would probably be the better icing on the cake if Edge and Christian get inducted together into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Then Jay Riso Christian gets put in there as well, or maybe induct the whole brood. Whatever.
That would be dope.
I'd be good with that.
That would be dope.
So yeah, that's how I think they should end it if they want to have that final little pop with Christian. Put Christian in the Hall of Fame with him, have them do it together either as the Brood or as Edge and Christian.
Yep, it would make perfect fucking sense. All right, man, I'm getting the old stomp of disapproval. So it's time to time to cut her loose here.
Time to throw the hats in. I got you.
Hey, so if you're still hanging out with us, we appreciate you. Please hit that thumbs up button. Even maybe consider subscribing. It's awesome. We would just fantastic. Check us out over on Twitter or X and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. If you're enjoying us anytime, anywhere, we appreciate you. So with all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. Hopefully we find Derek somewhere too. I don't know.
It'd be nice to find him. It really would be. Hopefully we can